Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Monsters of the Past. I'm your host for today, Catherine Shipier. Unfortunately, Mr.G absolutely refused to do this episode. In fact, if I remember correctly, he was actually trying to try to skip this episode. I tried telling him that people would notice that we were missing a number or something, but he refused to do this episode. Didn't even write a script for it or anything like that. He has a bit of a phobia involving what we're going to be talking about today, and he said that he, quote, does not want to go near this episode of a 10-foot pole. So what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about Megaarachne. Megaarachne means large spider, and is a member of the Mycepteroptidae family. It was a carnivore that lived during the late Carboniferous in Argentina. Megaarachne was about 2 feet long, and if it truly was a spider, then it would have been the biggest one that ever existed. But, as we'll discuss earlier, it wasn't actually a spider. Megaarachne was discovered in 1980 from a fossil that only consisted of a head, thorax, and spider-like legs. Because of this, most scientists reached the obvious conclusion and decided that this was a giant Carboniferous spider, which would have fit right in with the giant arthropods which existed during this time. However, in 2005, more fossils of Megaarachne were found, which showed that it wasn't a spider after all, but rather it was a genus of sea scorpions that were most likely filter feeders that would sift through the mud in order to hunt small organisms, similar to the modern-day gray whale, except bite-sized. Things like Megaarachne just go to show that sometimes what we thought we knew about an animal can be dead wrong, and that it's always possible for an animal to potentially be something else entirely than what we thought it was when we first discovered it. Stuff like this happens today even with modern day animals as well. Just look at the African jackal. I kept telling him that it wasn't a spider, but he refused. He said that he didn't want anything to do with spiders, even if it wasn't actually one. Now, personally, I love spiders. I think they're very interesting animals. I like drawing them a lot, because, they're cool. And they also like to, well, I don't want to go on a tangent. Mr. G hates when I talk about this kind of stuff. But I do it a lot because I like doing it, because spiders are cool. I like researching spiders. But that's a story for another day. Let's look at the card. Huh, you know, here is an interesting question. Why did they pick Megaarachne of all creatures? Especially considering the fact that they already had a Eurypterid card, and Megaarachne was a Eurypterid. Well, I have a bit of a theory. The copyright date on these cards is MMV, or 2005. And when was this discovery made that Megaarachne wasn't a spider? 2005. So, what I believe happened here was that they were planning these cards out from the beginning, kind of like how Smash Bros. Picks its characters before any development starts. So maybe they had like a list of animals that they were going to make. Considering that this card and the discovery that it wasn't a spider happened in the same year, it's definitely possible that they were planning a card talking about Megaarachne as a spider, but unfortunately, the discovery happened and it would have been outdated, but since they didn't want to get rid of the card, they quickly redesigned it and talked about how it wasn't a spider, but actually a sea scorpion. This is also supported by the fact that this looks like a very rushed design. I mean, this is definitely still a very spider-like design. In fact, it even still has those, fang thingies that spider has. Which is odd because it was a filter feeder, and those kinds of jaws would not help with that lifestyle. But that's just a theory. What do you guys think? Do you think that this was supposed to be about Megaarachne as a spider and they had to quickly redesign it? Tell me what you guys think. I think it's about time we look at some pop culture stuff, or what little there is. In the TV show Walking with Monsters, There were originally plans for Megaarachne to appear as the main antagonist of one of the segments in the second episode, but unfortunately, while the show was being finalized, the discoveries were made of Megaarachne not being a spider, and they realized that there was no time left before they could change the animation. So, they had to change the narration instead, and instead of calling it Megaarachne, they instead referred to it as a fictional member of the group Mesophiliae. So, yeah. Then later on, in a TV show known as Primeval, which was animated by the same company, they have what's known as the Carboniferous Arthropod, which you cannot tell me is based on the Mesophiliae from Walking with Monsters, which in that case would also mean that it was partially based on Megaarachne. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Here's another thing I find interesting. In the video game Ark Survival Evolved, the giant spiders are referred to as Araneos, which is the name of the order that Megaarachne was originally a part of during the time when it was considered a spider. Interesting stuff indeed, wouldn't you say? Alright, that's it for this episode of Monsters of the Past. Join us next time when we talk about a giant hairy guy. One that might have connections to a potential monster that lives out in the woods of North America, the Himalayas, Australia, Florida, actually, basically all the civilized world. We're talking about that guy next time. Okay, peace out. Love you all. Bye.